Hey guys, Nishquick here. With the new year of 2023, I kind of wanted to try something new when it comes to my content. I don't know how often I will do this, it depends on what I'm playing month by month, so I kind of wanted to start off each month by talking about the games I played last month and maybe what I look forward to playing this current month. I'm now recording this on February 1st, and I want to talk about some of the games I played in January and what I'm looking forward to playing in February. So yeah, let's get started. And of course, if you're new here, I just wanted to say I'm Nishquick. I talk about video games, all things reviews, analysis, usability studies, casual discussions, all that good stuff. If you enjoy that kind of content, be sure to hit the subscribe button and like the video if you enjoyed it. So let's get started. So, most of January, I was actually on vacation all the way across the world, so I couldn't really play a lot of games, but before I left for vacation, I did complete some games, and I did play some while I had some free time while I was on vacation. So, let's start off with a bang. This is a game I've wanted to play for a very long time. A lot of friends really wanted me to play it, and I finally did, and that is the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I will start off by saying I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it a lot. I went into this game not thinking I would enjoy it as much as I wanted to, and there is some truth to that. But looking back at it, I still think it was a great game overall. It was really fun, and having the knowledge of the original Final Fantasy VII really helped me enjoy this game a lot more. So let me talk about that a bit. So, a lot of you may not know this, but I didn't really get into the JRPG genre until like around 2019. And I thought the best way to do that is with the game, the JRPG, Final Fantasy VII, the one that everyone's talking about, the one that changed the world. And I played it, and I got to the part where you enter the Shinra building and you're trying to rescue Aerith. And I just couldn't really get into it as much as I thought I would, or I guess I thought I wanted to. And then fast forward many years later, I pick it up again. And I stop around the same part. And then I pick it up literally last year, and I picked it up literally the day after Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was announced, and I got much farther because I used a lot of the cheats that are on the Switch, like infinite limit breaks and speeding up the combat and no random encounters and all that stuff, right? But I got to a point where I kind of like soft locked myself because I was doing that too much and I was way too underleveled, so I didn't continue it again. And this is me just making excuses for not playing Final Fantasy VII. A lot of my friends who are into Final Fantasy, a lot of my friends who are even not into JRPGs said, hey, you gotta give this game a shot. It's a lot of fun. So I was like, this is easily the best way to do it. This is a modern remake, a full-on remake, with kind of the same story, with some changes in the story, and a newly revamped combat system. So let's talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake. I played it on the PC. The PC version was very great on my current rig with a 3070 Ti and a Ryzen 7. It was running fairly smoothly with some hiccups here and there, but nothing too bad. The game looks amazing. The character designs, the character models are some of the best I've ever seen in any video game ever. It's truly breathtaking. The animations, the movement, the fluidity, it's all great. The combat is easily the highlight of this game. It is so much fun, like using Cloud and Punisher mode and Operator mode, switching over to Tifa and then punching with Tifa and then switching over to Aerith or Barret and all that. It's so fluid, and it's so amazing how they kind of combined the combat of turn-based and action and blended them together in this game with the command menu. And I love how the command menu kind of slows down the combat whenever you're trying to use it. And that's something that Kingdom Hearts didn't do, and I loved Kingdom Hearts 2. I enjoyed Kingdom Hearts 1. I'm gonna continue the series as well, but Kingdom Hearts doesn't really slow down the combat to allow you to make your choices, whether you want to like use an ether to get your MP back up, or heal, or even like select a drive form in Kingdom Hearts 2. It's a lot tougher to do something like that, because the combat is still going. I mean, that lends to Kingdom Hearts being a more faster game, but at the same time, I prefer how Final Fantasy VII Remake does it, and I really wish that Kingdom Hearts 4 takes notes from this. So that's what I really loved about Final Fantasy VII Remake. I do have some critiques though. I do wish that some of the areas were more open, because it felt very linear at times, and some of the dungeons like areas in this game, like the sewers and like that area and like inside the Shinra Midgar facilities, those were pretty fun. Those were cool, like the puzzles and all that in those areas, those are cool. But other times I just felt like it was very claustrophobic and linear. But I think Rebirth will really fix this, because Rebirth is going to take place outside of Midgar, and it's going to be a lot more open. And the other thing I did want to talk about, which I wasn't too big of a fan of, is the story and the dialogue. But hear me out. Overall, the story was great, very well told. It was a very nice recreation of the original story, where it enhanced on some parts which didn't exist or it enhanced on some parts that were very loosely mentioned in the first game. Whether it's just like 1 or 2 lines of dialogue, it might get like a full-on side quest. And some characters that were hardly even present in the original get like full-on character arcs. Like Jessie was one of my favorite characters in 7 Remake. But there's a lot of changes that I don't really know how to feel about just yet. And a lot of those come from the Whisper entities that are changing destiny. And sure, I guess you can say, hey, we want to tell a different story. But telling a different story is good, but I don't really think they needed the Whispers to really do any of that. The Whispers felt very out of place, felt very heavy-handed and kind of like annoying at times. So that was one kind of gripe I had. And on top of that, the story changes seem to be very, very, very substantial to the effect that the later games may not even feel like the original when it comes to the story. And me, as a person who knows what happens in Final Fantasy VII but hasn't played the original, that might be alright for me, but I don't know how others will take it, so I guess we'll see about that. The dialogue, though, I do want to say this. The dialogue felt very awkward at times. There are times when characters are talking and the dialogue is just... It's very, like, you know how people talk about, oh, this dialogue is so anime. This dialogue felt anime, but in a very different way. You know that Xenoblade 2 cutscene everyone likes to make fun of with Tora and Poppy and all that? That is one kind of anime. But it just felt weird to see very lifelike, realistic-looking characters have these kind of awkward dialogue exchanges at times. It's mostly with Cloud whenever he's kind of talking to a girl, and that's just Cloud being Cloud, I guess. But it was a small little nitpick that I could kind of point to in various areas of the game, but nothing like game breaking or nothing to really shatter my experience. Honestly, overall, Final Fantasy VII Remake was great. It's one of my favorite RPGs I played in recent memory, and I'm excited for Rebirth coming later this year, hopefully. So, I talked a whole lot about Final Fantasy VII Remake, so I may not talk as much about this game, but I do want to say, this game is a very big surprise, and that's Astral Chain. Astral Chain has been sitting in my digital Switch library for about at least a year now. At least a year. I got it back in late 2021. I didn't play it until January of 2023. And I have to say, Astral Chain has some of the most fluid and most epic combat I've ever played in a game. And immediately I could tell the Nier Automata inspiration, the Nier Automata vibes, because I think it's the same combat designer. I think that a lot of Nier Automata's influence was carried over into Astral Chain, but in a very creative way. I feel like where Nier Automata excels is its storytelling, which Astral Chain doesn't excel as much. But Astral Chain really excels in its combat, because you're gonna be interchanging a lot of your legions. Your legions work in different way. You might use your sword legion, which is more fast and can use like sword combat techniques. Or you might use your arrow legion to hit projectiles or faraway enemies out of reach. Or you might use your arm legion to do like massive damage and like kind of do some AoE attacks. And just interchanging those legions within combat and even in the puzzles outside of combat was very, very cool. And it was a very kind of innovative concept that I've never seen any other game do. I will say though, the story kind of, it's also got that kind of awkward dialogue at times. And there are some really cool moments though, with some characters and some interactions you get there. But a lot of the time, I just wasn't really as invested into the story. I just couldn't really kind of get attached to a lot of the things that were going on. But a lot of the set pieces, the cutscenes, the dialogue and all that, it was still cool regardless. I do gotta say though, Astral Chain's combat was very fun because you're not only controlling yourself as the person controlling the Legion, but you're also controlling the Legion as well. You're in control of a lot of the Legion's commands, and there's like a whole move list for each Legion and how they interact with said enemy that you're fighting. And as the police officer yourself, you have a gun, you have a baton, and then you have like this massive large sword. So you have different ways of tackling enemies, and that was so much fun to do within this game. On top of that, there was a lot of really cool customization, which added a lot of RPG elements to this game, like leveling up your Legion's skill trees and customizing your Legion's appearance and adding like new skills and buffs to your Legion to make them stronger. So that was a lot of fun to do as well. So yeah, overall Astral Chain was a really cool experience, really enjoyed it. And if you are in the market for a really fun action game that runs and looks really good on the Switch, give Astral Chain a shot. I think you'll be surprised. It's actually a lot of fun. So this next game, I didn't play much of it. I'm going to continue it later on, but I will say it did start off very strong, and that's Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. And this game has a very interesting story going on because it is a completely different universe from Three Houses, where the Officers Academy doesn't pick up Byleth, but picks up this new person named Shez. And Shez is a really interesting connection with another kind of Sothis-like deity, which I don't want to spoil too much of, but I'm also still very early on in the story, but things are really getting interesting with Shez's relationship with this deity, as well as their relationship with the rest of the Officers Academy. So this time I picked the Blue Lions because I did a whole Black Eagles route in Three Houses, and I did a little bit of Golden Deer in Three Houses New Game Plus. So I thought I'd choose Blue Lions to get a taste of what these Blue Lions characters are like. And it's really cool so far. I'm really enjoying Annette and Mercedes. Those are really fun characters to interact with and talk with. Also Felix. Felix is really cool. He's really stoic and serious. I really like Felix's whole demeanor. And of course, you got Womanizer Sylvain there as well. And then Dimitri, really cool guy. I really want to see more of Dimitri in this game because it looks like Dimitri isn't going to go down this vengeful path that he did in Three Houses. But I need to play the game more to kind of see how that goes. So I'm not that big of a fan of Musou games and hack and slash games like these, or the Warriors games in general. I did play a bit of Persona 5 Strikers and I did enjoy that, but I didn't really continue it past where I stopped. Maybe I should go back and continue it, but I just wasn't interested in the original Fire Emblem Warriors, the original Hyrule Warriors, and even Age of Calamity as well. But Three Hopes is a very nice take on all of this kind of Musou gameplay, because you're kind of in charge of how your units tackle certain other enemies, and you're kind of like your own tactician in this scenario. You're like, Dedue can go over here and face these enemies because he's good against these enemies, and Ingrid as a flyer can go over here and face against these enemies and not those enemies because she's weak against archers or something like that. So that's really cool that those three houses mechanics are implemented into Three Hopes. Some of the combat animations are really cool. The flow of combat is very good, and it runs pretty decently on Switch. I haven't played it on docked mode, but I did play on handheld, and things seem to be pretty fine so far. So I will eventually continue Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. And the last game I want to talk about today is Fire Emblem Engage. I was very, very, very excited for this game, and it's finally here, and I've only played 2 hours of it. Only one day, 2 hours of it, because I've been so busy once I got back from vacation and with jet lag and so many other things, but I've only played 2 hours, and I will say, Engage is very good. It is some of the most tactics-heavy Fire Emblem gameplay I've ever experienced, and it really, really reminds me of Awakening, and that's what I wanted this game to do. I wanted it to kind of take me back to the days of Awakening, and it really has, and it really did. I really appreciate that this game has done that, because Awakening is one of my favorite video games of all time, Fire Emblem Awakening. I made a video on that, you guys should check it out. What Engage has done is it's elevated the gameplay of Awakening, as well as introduced some really cool mechanics with this Engage system, which I'm still trying to master and still trying to get the hang of, but I'm very interested to see how this game goes. The story is very okay as of now. The characters, I will say, are very, very good. The characters have very flowery, very colorful personalities, and I really enjoy that about these characters. Story, on the other hand, is very simple. I don't really care about that because I'm playing Fire Emblem for the Fire Emblem strategy gameplay. So yeah, well, Engage is really good. I'll keep you guys updated on how I'm enjoying it, but so far it's been a lot of fun. And one more thing is, this has got to be one of the best looking Nintendo Switch games I've ever seen. It is truly a visual stunner, Fire Emblem Engage. Whether that is in the Somnial, whether that's after battle, or whether that's even in battle, it is truly a visual stunner with some amazing animations, amazing character models, and amazing just graphical fidelity on the Nintendo Switch. So hats off to Intelligent Systems and Gus for making a game like this and making it look so good. So yeah, that is going to do it for my first backlog review kind of video. I guess I'll call it that, backlog review. So that was January's backlog review. And what am I excited for in February? February, I'm excited to play more Fire Emblem Engage, of course, but there are other JRPGs that I've been having in my backlog for a very long time. We'll see if I get to them in February. Two big ones are Chrono Trigger and Tales of Arise. And I have a big story about Chrono Trigger, which I'll talk about whenever I make that video about Chrono Trigger or whenever I talk about it. Tales of Arise, I'm also very, very excited to play. Outside of JRPGs, I might look into Stray and possibly maybe continue Horizon Forbidden West and Nier Automata as well, because I've only done one ending of Nier Automata. I gotta continue that game as well. So yeah, thank you guys for sticking around, and if you want more content like this, as well as reviews, analysis, casual discussions, all that good stuff, keep it locked in here on Nishquick Pops. Give this video a like if you enjoy it, and subscribe for more content like this. This is Nishquick, signing off. Have a great day, and play some great games today. I'll see you in the next one.